This short presentation will go over reputation management, specifically the importance of management of a business responding to customer reviews. And I'm going to be going over this relatively quickly. And if you like, you can go back and look at the static version of the presentation, which accompanies this, the actual slides, to look at the details. So first of all, managing positive reviews can do two things. Number one, it can result in higher search engine rankings, which I will go over on the next slide. But it also is a customer relationship management strategy where happy customers feel valued when management sincerely thanks them in an original way, and we'll go over some of that later. The point is to convert customers into loyal customers. As far as negative reviews are concerned, they're always a risk. Every business gets them. The real challenge is to limit them as much as possible and try to anticipate when you might get a negative review so you can respond to it before you actually have it. And they do negatively impact reputations, and they are hard to fix. So whether you get a positive or negative review, customers or prospects, we should say, are watching. 93% of consumers find that reviews are important when making a decision. So that's something to keep in mind. And I mentioned I would before I would get to this, is that the importance of quality management responses to customer reviews is they can lead to as much as a 15.4% in Google ranking. And that is from Google's algorithm. And another fact is that 88% of fellow consumers trust online reviews as much as they trust their friends. Conversely, only about 14 to 15% of consumers trust paid advertising. So that shows you the importance there. And almost all consumers say that that reviews do influence their decisions. I'm not going to go over all of these per se. However, I'd like you to look at how the wrong way to do this, and you can go back and look at some of these slides. I suffice to say these are two different reviews from happy customers to this business, and they basically answered the question. They answered the review with exactly the same words, except they just changed the name, which is a big no-no. I'll explain why that is. And this is more copying and pasting from the same business. Look, there's reviews here and two responses, and most of, if not all of the words are exactly the same. Another big no-no. And this is another example of them. So these guys really do it the wrong way, this business. And so we don't recommend that approach at all, ever. And it's really going to hurt your business. And as far as, if you're on Google reviews, those folks can just leave a star rating. And so the point is, you need to respond in a somewhat, not a long response, but just something that seems original. In this case, notice the same response to each one of these, exactly the same response. Now I'm going to go over some best practices. And if you do get a negative review, first of all, we recommend you don't answer it this way. First of all, we recommend you call the almost customer, they ended up not buying because they were so turned off. But here in this particular case, but always call them by their first name, and instead of using a phone number like this, because consumers won't respond to that phone number, they may respond to a direct hot link to an email though. And so you want to show that you've read their review, show you care, tell them why it happened in a non-excuse sort of way, and always thank them for writing their review. Now, if you look at this, I'm not going to do this right now, but you can go back to the slides and look at this, and then look at this and look at the difference. And this is where you want to. This will get you the better Google ranking if you respond in this fashion versus this fashion. This is one that is actually a positive review, and these people respond in a way that's very copy and pasted, always bragging about what they do. Here, what we do is we call them by their first name, and we ask them if they would consider using us again, and then we would sign off this way. You want to put the name of the business in the sign off, because in the text, because this is a 5-star review, which you're not seeing here, it'd be up here somewhere. That is a chance to get into the search engines, and we want, if our response gets put into the search engines, we want our name on it. This one is another thing not to do. Copy and paste short comments that basically don't prove anything. They prove that perhaps you never even read this, except you saw they gave a 5-star review. And this is another way this same company did this, which is a very insincere way of responding. We recommend you perhaps repeat some of their posts back, their review back in their response to show that you read it. Now, I'd like you to go over these survey results when you go look at the static version of this presentation, which again is right under this, the recorded version. I'd like you to look at some of these statistics, and they basically end up saying that most consumers respond well to when a business answers their review, and also most consumers write reviews. So, and that's something this survey showed, and it was based on 1,000 people, on a random sample of 1,000 people out there in the marketplace. And so these are very telling statistics that are coming out in this survey. And basically, to summarize it, it tells us that most, like I said before, most consumers that write reviews, not all consumers write reviews, but many do, and they really appreciate it when a business responds to their review, and most people do read them. And that's really important. One thing another thing that's important is we believe when we conduct our business that we believe it's a smart thing to do to ask consumers to write reviews, ask customers to write reviews. You can't pay them to do it. It's illegal. You can't bribe them, but you can ask them. And there's a way to ask them. And 72% of respondents said that they wrote a review if they were asked to do so politely and sincerely by the business. And I'll get into the results of that with the next slide. But a couple of things to note here, that 69% of the survey said they're more likely to use a business that has responded to their reviews. And then the next one down is that 70% in the survey were put off by a business that responded to a review with a template or copy and paste the response. So you don't do that. We recommend that instead of doing that, you just go ahead and not respond at all. If you're going to just copy and paste, we recommend you don't do that. Don't do it. And first, and this is sort of a case study I'm going to show you that we did, that we asked when we had, and this is for one of our hotel clients, and we put together a strategy that said if we had somebody who was checking out at the front desk and they seemed very happy, would ask them how their stay was. If they said it was very good, thank you very much, we would ask them to write a review in TripAdvisor in this case. TripAdvisor is really the #1 source for reviews for the hotel industry. So we'd ask them to write a review for us. And instead of saying write a review, what we'd ask them to do, and this is key, we asked them to please tell their story. Please tell their story. And we hand them a card that has a TripAdvisor link, and most of them did it. And when we asked them, and in this case study, we had 41 reviews, we were able to get this business's reviews up to a 4.8 average, which is actually really good. We responded to all of them. And you notice that the business was the Lafayette Hotel, and they were at right around 80, ranked number 85 out of 295, which isn't bad. But then with this strategy of asking their happy customers to tell their story, you notice their ranking went up and up and up and up until they became ranked number 15 out of 295, which was a big success story. That was worth celebrating. So they passed their competitors. Are they this would be the top 3%? Are they top 3%? Not really, no. They're a good hotel, they're not top 3%, but the other hotels are not leveraging the opportunity to ask for reviews, and that's their problem, not ours. So we figured we would use it, and look what happened. So not only was that a success, but it led to better search engine ranking. You notice that this when you look for a really common keyword phrase called hotels in San Diego, very expensive. It's a very expensive keyword phrase that goes around the world. And the page is dominated by paid placements, by pay-per-click. This would be Expedia, hotels.com, and booking.com. But the first placement, organic placement for hotels in San Diego was the Lafayette Hotel. And that was because the way that we were answering the reviews in the sincere way, using the best practices, we were able to increase their search engine optimization. So that was really a big success story. So there was a lot of success, and the hotel became more valuable because of this effort, and everybody was very happy with it. So for the project, what I'd like you to do is, first of all, answer these questions. Does your business that you're focused on, do they answer their reviews? And if so, do they answer them professionally? And then the frequency, how often? And then identify 2 positive and 2 negative, and respond professionally using the best practices. Add to the presentation. Now, there's a very real chance that your business is so small they don't have very many reviews. But if that's the case, I need you to go to a competitor and put those in your presentation. What I'm most interested in is to see you answer the reviews using some of the best practices from this presentation. So again, you can go to a competitor and flag theirs. That being said, thank you, and I'll see you in class.